Welcome back to the League of Inches podcast. Joel, your host here for the NRL Vegas round review. Obviously, just the two games to review this weekend, so it's a bit easier. I feel the boys off as well. Just been a big day for them. Obviously, massive few games. So you got myself coming on for a few minutes to talk about my thoughts about all things. The two games, give you my thoughts on players who I thought really stood out. That's how the teams went, etc. First off, the first game, Manly too good for the South Sydney Rabbitohs, 36 points to 24. I want to attack this one first with the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Latrell Mitchell, I thought he was pretty classy for a majority of this game. For probably about 55 to 60 minutes, he was my player of the match and clear player on the field. I thought the battle with Turbo, he actually won. Even throughout to the 80 minutes as well, I would have given the points to Latrell Mitchell. Um, he just looked like he wants to be there now. He looks like he wants to take on the role as the senior figure in this South Sydney lineup. He wants everyone to get on the back of him and then go. Unfortunately, today it didn't look like everyone got on his back and fed off his energy and the quality that he was producing. That let South Sydney down a lot. Um, that's a good segue into, I think, the halves, which I think were pretty poor, non-existent in a way. They're sort of, especially, there's been a lot of backlash on Lachlan Ilias, a lot of frustrations with the fans. A few fans have reached out as well to the page already and said they're over Ilias. I've tried to tell them that it's very hard for a young halfback to come into this team when it's dominated by Cody Walker and Latrell Mitchell and stand out and take authority. They need a senior figurehead there at halfback if they want a player to come in and do that. At the moment, a rookie's not going to come in and tell Latrell Mitchell or Cody Walker what to do in this football team. It's just not going to happen. If anything, for that last 20-minute period where the 10-point lead quickly turned into a deficit of 10 to 12 points, my fingers got is straight at Latrell Mitchell and Cody Walker, because even though all my raps with Latrell, I just think especially Cody Walker just was not there. He just seemed like he wasn't there at all today, and I was really, really disappointed with Cody Walker's performance. I thought that was the game, especially once they got the lead. He just stood up, got the team home, got the boys home, and just was the opposite. Wasn't there, as I said, and Manly just took over and off they went. I was really disappointed. So, look, Ilias, yep, I can understand fans' point of view. They're frustrated. They need the halfback to take control. But just sit back and have a think about it once you do cool down. I know it gets hot and heavy after a team's loss, and just have a look at how the team actually works. And he's literally fourth in the pecking order for that spine, because then you got Damien Cook as well. If I'm to talk about him, I think, I actually think he was sensational, especially that first half. He was really damaging. He was very crafty around the edge, the middle, really getting the market defense involved. If he continues to play like that, he's my New South Wales number 9. There's no doubt about that, the way he's playing. The back line for South Sydney, I think I was really impressed with Jacob Gagai and how he played. Almost got a second try there as well. Showed some good moments. For mine, I'd keep him there even when Whiten comes back, because Richie Kenner, even though he got 2 tries, I thought he was really, really average. I did not think he had a good game at all. Manly targeted him. They went around him several times in attack. His defense was very, very poor. It just, obviously, if Whiten will come in there, and I'd have Richie Kenner back in reserve grade. I'm surprised it's not a junior that probably could have got into that spot there, that seat. But I don't want to bash him too much. First week, get some cobwebs out, go from that. The forward pack for mine for the Bunnies were a little bit underwhelming, if I'm being honest. I was really excited for Jai Arrow for this game and to see what he's going to produce this year as well. He just seemed to continually get hurt and busted, and I don't know if it's his body letting him down. I don't know if it's showing the signs now of a big career that he's already had. He just seemed to, like, this was a game for mine that Tallis Duncan, he would have come on after 10, 20, 30 minutes, whatever it would have been, maybe started him, and he would have just exploded. He would have brought the energy. He would have fed off what was happening in the crowd, and we didn't get to see him. Like, this is the game for him to be playing, and I feel like that's the sort of energy that South Sydney Pack needs. they were missing him. I feel like they were really, really missed Talis Duncan today. Um, Cameron Murray, I thought was really busy. I was impressed with how busy he was today. Um, not much, not like in attack, he sort of just did what he had to do. Defense, he was big as well, just all over the park. I think he had like an 8 minute stint on the sideline as well. So he played big minutes today. Uh, Overall, I don't think it's panic stations at all for South Sydney. I think there's concern with the halves that needs to be spoken about. It needs to be basically those four spine members need to go in a room and I think need to tell Ilias, I don't care what we do on the field. You are our playmaker. You are our main chief. You direct us. You overrule us. You over call us whenever you see fit. And you know what? Here at the moment, we might not take it well, but we'll come back to you after game and apologize, etc. And its calls are on you. He just looks lost out there, and I actually really feel for Lachlan Ilias. The Manly Seagulls, great win. They look really, really good. They just sort of wore the punishment early from South. South looked up for it early, and Manly then just took over, took control. And even in that second half, they didn't panic. They sort of just played their style. They knew what was coming. They put the accelerator down and off they went. And South Sydney just couldn't go with him. And Tommy Trebojevic, how good is it to see him fit? He looks probably 95% to me. Like I loved it when he ran out of the gates, he sprinted. He was just boom straight into it. I loved that. I think that was fantastic to see. Um, Ruben Garrick, in the centres, I was worried about his involvement if he could get involved. They seem to be using him as really a sort of a strike centre. So he's getting very, very involved if today's anything to go by. And there's no signs of him slowing down. He looks like a class act. Cooler, I thought was really busy as well. There's some good signs for him moving forward, especially for an attack point of view. They're going to let him float around a little bit. He did that at times in the second half, which I thought he looked really good with and comfortable. Definitely want to keep watching from a Supercoach point of view as well. For those who probably have already listened to our Supercoach side of things, that is out for our review as well. But yeah, I was really excited by Cooler's efforts there. Want to shout out to Luke Brooks, who I thought was the man of the match for Manly. His involvement was great. He didn't overplay his hand. He just came in when it was needed. His running game was sensational. That try was worth. He deserved it. He basically dropped one over the line, so he should have had two, and it would have been an absolutely dominant display. But I just think Luke Brooks, he looks happy. He looks like he's enjoying his footy. This is the Luke Brooks I think everyone has wanted to see for so long now. He's now in a quality team with quality players around him, with a set structure in place. He's not thinking about a million things at once, being the halfback and the main guy for a team. He can sit back and say, chime in whenever he sees fit. I love that for Luke Brooks. I think it's going to be a huge year, 2024. For the forward pack, I think their back row was absolutely immense for Manly. Hamala Olakawatu and Ben Trebojevic were absolutely huge. Great in attack, great in D. They both look like there's some set moves in place, get him close to the line, and Burbo looks big. He looks like he can just handle that. And I don't think Schuster comes back into this starting team. He'll come back on the bench, and who knows what sort of minutes he gets. But if I'm the coach, after what I've seen today and what I've heard about in the preseason, they're my set second rowers and that's who I'll be starting with every week until injury claims one of them. I don't see any of those two slowing down. I thought a special mention as well. Nathan Brown, I thought came on, played prop, looked really, really good, looked involved, has that passing game going as well, which adds a bit more of a dimension to the Manly Seagulls attack. Thought that helped him a lot, and it helped Jake Trbojevic out a lot as well, because I think at times that passing game has been his downfall. It's his weakness. It's not real natural for him. He didn't have to do that as much while Nathan Brown was on the field. So I think that really suited both of those. And it was just great to see Nathan Brown being an ex-Para player. I've always had a soft spot for him because I thought he played some great footy at Parramatta. Just good to see him, even though it is at the arch enemy Manly. It was good to see him get involved and play a good game. The second game, the Sydney Roosters 20 beat the Brisbane Broncos 10. Start off with the Brisbane Broncos. Now, I did warn everyone last week in the live shows. I thought the smaller condensed field would impact the Brisbane Broncos the most because a lot of their side-to-side attacking plays, their sweeps, and it basically did that. Their attack was almost non-existent. I don't know if they just kept running out of room. They were squashed. They were condensed. It looked like all of the above. Reece Walsh looked like he got a bit frustrated, even though I think he had a decent game. He looked very, very busy, which I like for Reece Walsh. And if I was a Broncos fan, I really like the fact that he continually involved himself in the game. But yeah, it is a slight concern for me that they don't have an additional outlet yet for that attack. If that gets shut down on a regular size NRL field, which I'll come back to in 2 weeks' time, it's only an extra for 5 meters in the end, 2.5 or so either side. Defenses will know what's going to come. They will know how to attack it, defend it, and we need to see that plan B. I thought Ezra Mam and Adam Reynolds were disappointing. If I'm going to call a spade, I was very disappointed. I hate to say it, but it reminded me of that back half of that grand final, especially that Adam Reynolds display where there was a lot of times where they needed him to step up in this game against the Roosters, and it didn't happen. And I'm concerned that I don't know, like Reece Walsh, from as I said, he looked like he was doing a lot more. It looked more like he was doing a lot more of the kicking as well. Now, nothing to against Reece Walsh. Does not have the kicking game Adam Reynolds has. If I'm the Broncos, even though he's going to get targeted, I want Adam Reynolds doing 95% of that kicking. He's a magician with the boot. He needs to make sure he's doing that general play kicking. That's going to work out best for the Brisbane Broncos. And just involve himself a bit more in attack. He has a sneaky running game, Adam Reynolds, and he needs to use it. Ezra Mam, I'll give him a pass mark for now. I don't want to go in on him too much, but again, another player where his involvement wasn't as where I thought it should have been for the Broncos, and it really showed with their poor attack. So on Cobo did a decent job at center. There's still some work in progresses for him. But for now, I think that's definitely something to continue on with the Brisbane Broncos. Katoni Staggs is a worry for mine. He just looked like he didn't want to be there. Again, this is my concern with Katoni Stagg at centre. He doesn't involve himself. He's not one of those roaming centres. He stays on his edge. That's where he is. Get him the ball. He doesn't go looking for the ball. I don't think he realizes how good he could be. And that's for mine. If I was a Broncos fan, that's the most frustrating thing because we've got this Ferrari sitting there ready to go that we know can produce, but he doesn't get on the track. He doesn't involve himself. He doesn't show those quick lap times that he can do. We're just sort of getting him continually warming up or behind a safety car, so to speak. So he just needs to involve himself. That's all I want. If I was his half out there, I'd be saying to him and yelling at him, get in there and get involved. I don't care what's been said to you. Get in there, get the ball, show what you can do. The forward pack, Payne Haas was Payne Haas. He was steadily busy, involved himself, went forward, couple offloads and stuff. Looks like a real handful once again this year. Looks like he'll be one of the best props, if not the best prop of the competition. Unfortunate to see Brendan Piakura go out so early with that HIA. So many raps on the kid. I'm a huge fan of what he can do, and it was just so disappointing to see. I thought he really excelled in this stage. And I think that may have hurt the Broncos in attack as well, because we've seen in the trial, they actually went to him a lot. He was one of their focal points in attack, especially for Reece Walsh to use when he was going off that sweep, to either just hit him short or go out the back, and they really missed that. Apart from that, there's not much else to say with these games. I just thought, for the Brisbane Broncos, I just thought they were a bit underwhelming. I don't know if it's a grand final hangover. I don't want to say too much like that in those words, but what I will say is they lost quality players at the end of the year. It's been my concern this whole off season for them. That this game, if anything, has just made that more extreme for my views, and I just think they might struggle a little bit more than a lot of people are thinking this year with some of those players that they're lacking in 2024. For the Sydney Roosters, great game by the Roosters. They really put their foot down and showed that they're a heavyweight of this competition. They're going to be so hard to beat. I thought their skipper was inspirational, James Tedesco. I thought he stood up and said, you know what? Everyone's raving about Reece Walsh. No worries at all. He can have his sparky moments. I'm going to be Mr. Consistency right now. I'm going to do what I know I can do every single second of this game. And he just involved himself like it was classy. It was a James Tedesco of old, and continue to play like that. He's still the New South Wales fullback. He's still the Kangaroos fullback, and he'll probably go down this year as the top 3 fullback in this competition. he could even challenge for the best fullback again in 2024. It's actually crazy when you peel back the curtain and think about James Tedesco and where he's been at with his career, where he's at now, that he's continually at the heights that he's getting to with his game. Just absolute credit to him. He was immense. Um, the center pairing, Joey Manu and Suoliti, I thought were both really good, but Joey Manu, what a player. Do not go to French rugby. NRL, whatever you can do to keep this guy in the game, no matter what, do it. Honestly, we need to see this guy for the next 5, 6, 7 years in this game doing what he does. And the intercept, the way he reads the game, that flick pass, he is superstar written all over. And that is the type of player we need to keep in this game. I don't have no doubt he will be on highlight reels over in America for tomorrow when they're waking up in the morning. They'll see that flick pass and just think this guy is a freak. So, well done, Joey Manu. The forward pack, I thought the forward pack was quite frustrating. The minute side of things, we don't know what's going on there still. The starting props, like Spencer got his starting role. I don't know if he did anything to warrant automatic selection there once Rory Hargreaves is back. I do think Rory Hargreaves will come off from the bench, but I don't know if Lenu will keep him out of too many minutes going off that. He wasn't spectacular. He just did his job. I think Coach Trent Robinson will want to see a lot more out of Spencer Lenu, especially when he's starting. Um, Unfortunately, it looked like both Wong and Tupanua on the edges did get some injuries throughout the game, so that impacted their minutes to see what was the real plan for them moving forward this year. I've got huge raps on Wong, as everyone knows out there, and just would have been nice to see him get some more minutes and see what he could do on that edge, because it looked like today was an edge back rowers type of game, and I thought he would have been huge for it. A special shout out before I go on to the actually I'll go Terrell May first. Off the bench, sensational once again. This guy, this kid, he's the real deal. Like, he can go and ask for some big money contracts. I know he said that he wants to play with his brother. That's going to open the door to who knows what was going to happen. The way it's going, I reckon they'll all end up at the Roosters. They've got some quality players coming off contract at the end of the year. That's another conversation for another day. Terrell May, huge. Congratulations to him. I thought off the bench, massive. And I actually just want to see him stay on the bench. I think Trent Robinson said at the end of the game in Matty John's interview that he wants to just play him nonstop for that second half of the 40 minutes because he's so fit. He can't take him off. He's got a huge motor, and that's what he loves about him. He just continually gets up and makes play out after play after play. So just keep him in that role. Do not change it because it's clearly working for him and the Sydney Roosters. And he's on the verge of some rep footy, guys. So he's on the verge to make some big stuff and see what happens there. Last guy I want to shout out to is Brandon Smith, who doesn't get the raps he deserves, I don't think, and hasn't got the raps he deserves for this game. But I actually thought he played really smart. He looked fit. And I think he's in for a massive year in 2024. A lot happened last year for him. A lot of criticism went his way as well. Probably rightly so at the start of this season. I thought his back end of the year was good. I'm very, very pleased with what I've seen from Brandon Smith for this game, and I'm really keen to see what he's got moving forward. And I think he's going to be a focal point of this Sydney Roosters attack. Might sound stupid to say, but he's going to be in charge of who's getting the ball when does he pick his time to run, because he's still probably the most damaging ball running hooker in the competition. Apart from maybe Damien Cook with his speed, but he can just barge people out of the way. We're seeing that happen today, and he's in for a huge year. So credit to Brandon Smith. I thought it was a very, very smart display from him today. That's it, guys. How good was it to see the footy back? Just myself, as I said, we'll get the boys back on to do this moving forward. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy it. Any recommendations, please let us know on the page. Go ahead, give us a like and follow, subscribe. Have you either watching or listening? It does go a long way to helping support the platform moving forward and helping us get some extended reach for the platform. And you see the social media tags there. If you are watching the video, make sure you go ahead, all our social media, give us a like, give us a follow, and just become part of that League of Interest family community that we love very, very much. There's a lot of things happening this year to be excited about with the page that you do not want to miss out on. So thanks heaps, guys. Hope you did enjoy the first round of the NRL, the Vegas round. So much happening the next couple of days. Teamless Tuesday is going to be huge. Cannot wait for it. I'll see you all then.